Welcome to a narrated PowerPoint of the hero's journey, adapted from Joseph Campbell's The Hero with a Thousand Faces. Because I am filming this for my science fiction and fantasy literature class, all of my examples come from science fiction and fantasy movies, and I could easily do this with just all Star Wars or just all Lord of the Rings. I wanted to show you how a variety of movies could fit the hero's journey. Act 1. Separation. The miraculous conception, the hiding of the child. Our hero may have come from supernatural beginnings, sometimes born of a virgin mother or fathered by a god, or both. In some circumstances, the child must be hidden from an evil or jealous relative. In the case of Greek mythology, Kronos was the relative. He ate his own children so they couldn't grow up to overthrow him. Dad of the Year award. But Zeus's mom, Rhea, got tired of her babies being eaten, so she hid her last son, Zeus, and he was raised on a secret island. She tricked Kronos by giving him a rock wrapped in a baby blanket instead. The ordinary world. The hero is living a regular life. All in their world is fairly normal and undisturbed. Our hero may even be a bit bored. And here's the famous Star Wars hero Luke Skywalker, feeling pretty bored on Tatooine, wishing that he could go fight the Empire. But then there's the call to adventure, or the herald. Someone or something gives this person the opportunity to go on an important but dangerous adventure, usually an adventure with a high moral cause where others will depend on the hero's success. Harry Potter gets several calls to adventure. First, there's the envelopes that arrive. And then Hagrid shows up and says, "You're a wizard, Harry." And Harry Potter doesn't have to live under the stairs anymore. Then sometimes there's the refusal of the call. The hero may not be ready to answer this call to adventure. Some jump at the chance. But others might be disbelieving, hesitant, scared, and worried about leaving the obligations of normal life behind. Neo in The Matrix definitely was a little hesitant, and he got a literal call to adventure, which pretty soon led him to hanging on the outside of a building in which he says, "I can't do this." Ring, ring. Hello? Hi, this is Adventure calling. You down? Nah, I'm good. But eventually they come around. One thing that we also often see is that there is a wise sage or a mentor. And some of these can be combined. The wise sage may also be the herald, or not. So it's always different in every story. Our hero needs guidance, which often comes in the form of a wise older person. This is the person that will teach our hero valuable lessons to help them succeed on the adventure. This mentor often shows us that heroism is more about personality characteristics and wisdom than about physical strength or skill. So Grandma Tala has some wise words for Moana. Supernatural aid. A supernatural aid can be in the form of an object, like a special sword, as Excalibur for King Arthur, or a wand for Harry Potter, or just the force within the order of the real or fantasy universe in which our hero lives. The hero will need time and patience to master this aid, however, and learning to control it is part of the hero's journey. And we see Dr. Strange here, who has both his time stone, the green necklace, and his magical sentient cape. Lucky guy. Joining forces. Often others help the hero along the way. Friends and allies come to join the adventure and do their part in the fight, which is usually against a great evil threatening life as they know it. These allies may have heroic qualities of their own, and sometimes even have their own hero's journeys. But generally their function is to support the hero and give that person something to fight for. Into the Spider-Verse teams up a variety of spider people and one spider pig, of course, from multiple dimensions to vanquish evil. There's also sometimes a trickster among these. And the trickster may not always be trustworthy. A trickster is generally amoral and has their own agenda. So they may not necessarily be an antagonist, but their own agenda may not jive with what the hero is trying to do. In this case, we have Uncle Aaron, who is not what he seems. Crossing the first threshold. This is the first entrance into the adventure, stepping out of that ordinary world and into the first challenge, the first time to test courage, the first taste of the difficult journey that lies ahead. So a really great example is Sam and Frodo stepping out of their comfort zone in Lord of the Rings. Sam even stops and says, "This is it. If I take one more step, it'll be the farthest away from home I've ever been." And boy, Sam doesn't know what he's in for. Threshold guardians. Sometimes there are people, creatures, or objects attempting to hold the hero back from beginning or continuing the journey. This could be an overprotective parent, a cautious friend, a suspicious boss, or even an actual guard protecting something. Story-wise, the function of the threshold guardian is to test and challenge the hero's resolve. They're not necessarily antagonists to the hero. They might be, but they might be somebody who's just looking out for them. So the example from The Princess Bride, of course, is the three people that Wesley must face in order to be able to save his princes: Inigo, Vizzini, and Fezzik. Act 2, Transformation. Everything that follows in Act 2 is part of the road of trials. Trials are like obstacles that the hero must overcome, like a hurdler jumping over barriers to get to the finish line. To give our hero hope, there are points of light along this road as well. The steps on the next 9 slides can come in any order. Meeting with a sister goddess. The hero will meet someone captivating or otherworldly. Because these stories used to be very sexist and most heroes used to be men, it's often an enchanting female. This person brings wisdom and inspiration to the hero and may give the hero something they lack. The meeting is often filled with magic or mystery and leaves the hero in awe. Here we have Frodo meeting Galadriel, the Queen of Lothlorien in Lord of the Rings. So she enchants him, she shows him the future, later she imparts gifts. Abduction, hunt, or night journey. This is often an outside force that keeps the hero moving, keeps our hero focused on their quest. The hero must rescue someone or hunt down something or take a journey through unknown lands. Sometimes the forces are natural, like a tornado in Wizard of Oz. They may also be supernatural, as an angry god or goddess in Greek mythology setting a man down in a new land to fend for himself. At other times, the journey is spurred by evil forces, perhaps a kidnapped love the hero must follow. Here we see Owen Grady hunting down the Indominus with his velociraptor buddies. So this one is both the night journey and a hunt. Temptation. Our hero will be tempted to stray from the path, perhaps even tempted to follow the very thing they are fighting against. This temptation is a strong test of the hero, and the ability to resist shows great personal strength. In the movie 13 Going on 30, Jenna's journey is toward happiness and fulfillment, self-fulfillment. As a kid, she thinks the way to this is to be cool, and she ditches her friend Matt because he is not cool in her eyes. So she has been tempted off her path by popularity and society's idea of cool. But later, Jenna realizes there are more important things that will make her happy, like Matt. Sacrifice and betrayal. The hero or the hero's companions may have to make small or large personal sacrifices to meet a larger goal. In some cases, the hero is betrayed by one of their allies, one who is given in to temptation, or who is not the person they appeared to be, and this is the shapeshifter. Frozen is a good example of both of these. Hans betrays Anna. He is a shapeshifter who pretends to be the perfect love interest, but really just wants to use her to gain power. When Hans is about to kill Elsa, Anna sacrifices herself to protect her sister. Brother or dragon battle. The hero must engage in a face-to-face battle with a challenging foe. Sometimes it may be a guardian or a monster, as in Greek mythology when Perseus must kill Cerberus, the three-headed dog. Other times the battle may be more personally challenging because the hero is fighting someone they know or possibly even related to. The hero may be fighting a darker version of themselves. This is the shadow. the person the hero could easily become if not careful. Here we have a picture of Loki and Thor in one of their many fights. I wanted to add an extra slide about the shadow because it's such an interesting archetype that shows up in a lot of movies and literature. So here we have three shadows. We have Gollum is the shadow of Frodo because Gollum was corrupted by the ring of power, and Frodo could become that. And in fact, if you look at them, you see how different they look. But Gollum used to be a hobbit, just like Frodo. Of course, Luke Skywalker is in danger of becoming like his father, Darth Vader, if he lets his anger get the best of him. And then Kara, who is Supergirl, was raised on Earth by a loving family, but had she come from a different universe and raised by Nazis, she could have become this version of Supergirl. I can't remember what she was called right now. Belly of the whale approached to the inmost cave. This is taken from the biblical story of Jonah getting swallowed by a whale and represents one of the darkest places our hero may go. They may appear to be swallowed by an enemy, and the cave is often in the hold of the enemy. But the cave could also be the hero's own psychological struggle, so it might not be a physical place. When the hero emerges on the other side, they are changed, stronger, wiser, and usually a little bit quieter. In the Lego movie, Emmett gets stuck in Lord Business's think tank, so he's in the lair of the enemy and must face very difficult challenges there. Withdrawal. In order to prepare for the biggest trial, the hero withdraws from society and distractions. This is a period for meditation, self-awareness, and complete withdrawal into the self. It can also be part of the symbolic death described further in the next slide. It may be, it may not be. Tony Stark, or Iron Man's, withdrawal is less meditative than most. He tinkers and creates instead of quietly contemplating life. But there he is in his garage, trying to get away from everybody and just do his thing. Symbolic death and resurrection. The hero may come close to death, either in a spiritual loss of faith in the quest or an actual physical harm. Can even be dismemberment, which is a metaphorical of the death or symbolic of the death. This event is usually important to wake up the hero to the limits of their skill and power. Resurrection is to come back to life. So this can be a rebirth of awareness, or it can also be them actually coming back to life or back from the brink of death. The symbolic death shows the hero their shortcomings, and it may be an important step in opening up the hero to gaining more knowledge for success. T'Challa in Black Panther is thrown off the waterfall by Killmonger and presumed dead. Later, he is found barely alive and is resurrected. The supreme ordeal. This is the ultimate challenge to the hero, where they must face the biggest fear or the ultimate enemy. It is the crux of the story upon which the success of the hero rests. They must use all the skills that they possess, all that they learned from the wise sage and in the road of trials, put to test in one final challenge. When Wonder Woman must face Ares at the end of the movie, it is both the supreme ordeal and the brother dragon battle, because as children of Zeus, they are siblings. Act 3, the return. Knowledge gained. The hero has gained something on his or her quest, usually a knowledge and understanding beyond that of their peers back in the ordinary world. Sometimes this knowledge is also in the form of mastery of a skill, but typically what the hero has gained is intellectual and spiritual rather than physical. Through their great trials and grim times, they understand that which others cannot fathom. In Kung Fu Panda, Po becomes the dragon warrior and begins teaching others. Atonement with the Father. Notice how atonement is at one-ment, to become one with something. The Father may be real or symbolic. The hero confronts what holds the ultimate power in their life. The hero has been at odds with this figure, refusing to follow, and now, at the end of the journey, they are able to reconcile those differences. In Babe, Farmer Hoggett wants to eat Babe at first, but then Babe starts herding sheep, showing Farmer Hoggett that pigs are worth more than just dinner on the table. Farmer Hoggett grows to love and accept Babe, and the ultimate show of that is when he says, "That'll do, pig, that'll do." The ultimate boon or the magic elixir. By surviving the challenges set before them, the hero gains a key to life, as it were. The hero often finds peace of mind through this knowledge and now has the responsibility to return and share this with the people as best as they can. In Shazam, Billy is at first very careless and selfish with his powers, but by the end, he matures and shares the power of the magical staff with his foster siblings, turning them all into superheroes. The return of good. Whatever darkness has been haunting our hero or the land for which they fought is gone. In The Lion King, Simba replaces Scar as king, and the Pride Land is once again a happy and regal place. The journey home, crossing the threshold. Sometimes the journey home is bittersweet. The hero wants to return home, but also finds it difficult to leave this new world of adventure they now know. Occasionally, the journey is one of escape, where some outside force helps to rescue our hero, but more typically, the journey is peaceful and done with contemplation. In Mulan, she returns home, and here she is, literally crossing the threshold of her house to present her father with a gift from the emperor. She worries she won't be accepted since she ran off, but her family is overjoyed to see her. Finally, we have the Master of Two Worlds. When the hero returns, they may return to the same place, but they are not the same person. The hero is now, as the title suggests, a master of two worlds, able to balance the material and the spiritual worlds. The hero is comfortable and skilled in both the outside ordinary world they left and the inner world of new knowledge and personal awareness gained on the quest. I use the example of Sarah Connor in the Terminator movies. We see her at first needing to be saved by Kyle Reese, and in T2, she's definitely more the one who's ready to fight. And by Terminator Dark Fate, she is a wise sage in her own right, and she has definitely become a master of two worlds. Thank you for listening to The Hero's Journey.